What's going on, ladies and gents? Your boy Gamma back with the lovely
Juju.
Oh, yeah. In today's episode, we're going to be discussing 3 ways to stay happily married.
Sounds good to me.
Oh, yeah. You're going to want to stick around for this one.
Yeah.
Let's
Escape the Matrix.
Escape the Matrix. Welcome back. If this is your first time, be sure to subscribe. Hit the like button. Hit that bell so you won't miss any episodes just like this. All right, so this is going to be one of those episodes you want to watch completely. At first, when you hear some of the statements, you may say to yourself, duh, I know that. But listen closely because it could be an aspect that you haven't thought about.
Right.
So definitely watch the video through its entirety and leave a comment on what you think. So with that said, what would you say, Juju, is one of those important things that every couple should have in their relationship?
Man, for me, personally, I feel like laughter. Being able to be silly with one another, right? Come on.
Well, genuine laughter, but yeah.
Right. Gotta be genuine, but
you gotta elaborate. Tell the people, what do you mean by that?
I mean, being comfortable enough where you're able to be silly, you're able to just, break out and have laughter, like in your relationship. And it could be with anything, really. Right. Good or bad, anything in between. Like being able to find laughter in different situations, I feel like is so important.
Yeah.
Because for the way I look at it is that in a marriage, like you go through ups and downs, you go through the thick of things in life, right? It's not always peachy. So, having laughter, being able to be silly with your significant other, it just adds like a lightness, it adds joy, it adds goodness, I feel like within the relationship. So
absolutely.
I love to laugh. I mean, I love to be silly with you. I know you love to be silly with me. So, it's
silly.
It's good. It's good vibes. It's good vibes.
Yeah. And you know what? It's funny because we're talking about laughter. Funny laughter. Get it? No, but seriously, laughter has been scientifically proven to release positive chemicals, endorphins, right?
Yes.
It's also been proven, and by the way, endorphins, guys, you probably already know this, but endorphins, it's kind of like that feel-good chemical, right? When you're having a great time, elation, excitement, laughter does release that, but it also removes negative emotions and feelings, right?
It does.
When you laugh, like as Juju said, you're less stressed.
Yes,
it breaks tension, even when you're not really there yet, like in marriage. Maybe you're still going through the dating or courtship period, but you notice when you laugh, you feel a little lighter. You're not as nervous. It releases even anxiety and stress. People sometimes watch a funny show or they listen to comedy when they're about to do something really nerve-wracking, like give a speech to a huge audience.
Right.
So imagine having that in a relationship. It's
kind
of like a cheat code, man. Like, even if you guys, like Juju said, are dealing with heavy things.
Yes.
Like a foreclosure. You're about to lose your home.
Man.
Repossession. You're about to lose your car.
Right.
You might look at each other and be like, yo, take that car. That thing don't even start up. Or, just to give you a little kind of a quick idea as to what laughter can do. It is very, very powerful, right?
It's definitely a remedy for a lot, in life, And, it could be through watching like a favorite show with your significant other. It could be inside jokes, or just, whatever that common ground you and your significant other is able to connect on and find humor. I feel like that is so essential within a happy, healthy marriage.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you know what? I always like to kind of look at the adverse, right? In other words, if laughter is good, what happens when the relationship isn't so good? You notice that you don't laugh as much, right?
Right.
Everything seems serious.
Yeah.
Everything, or it might just be straight to the point.
Yeah.
Hey, did you pay the bills? Yes, I paid the bills. Okay, cool. Good night. So you may not be arguing. You may not be fighting, but you notice when the relationship is no longer fun
Right.
you don't do something as laughing as much.
Yeah.
So that's another way to look at it too. If you're having issues in your relationship, chances are you're not doing a lot of laughing together.
Yeah.
You might be
I
getting
agree.
laughed at.
I
Your partner might laugh at your expense, and that's not cool.
No.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about laughing together.
Yeah, I agree. I sign that off, and that's a sealed deal for me.
Can you think of any other benefits as to why laughing together can keep you together?
I mean, I just feel like when you are able to have a good laughter with your other, I feel like there's like
Excuse me.
I feel like there's a strong bond there. Like it just creates a closeness. You know what I mean? There's an intimacy within that, right? Like you like you said, it's not like you're laughing at each other, but you're laughing together at something. So, whatever that is, I feel like it bonds you. It brings you closer. It's like, oh, he got me, I got him, type of deal. So
yeah, that's true. And also to kind of piggyback on what you said, the closer you get, the closer your laughs or the more intimate your laughs become.
Like inside jokes.
Yeah. For example, in the very beginning, you may need to go to a comedy show in order to laugh, right?
Yeah.
You're not necessarily comfortable with each other. So as you're dating, you're doing obvious things that can get you to laugh. Maybe you're watching a comedy together, a movie that's funny. Stand-up, things like that. But as you get closer, as Juju said, your laughter becomes more intimate. Now you can look at each other without even speaking.
Without saying anything.
And you'll both start cracking up.
That's right.
Because you're thinking the same thought. It could be that someone's in the room and they have like, striped socks.
Right.
And it's just like the wackiest color scheme. And you guys look at each other and you know exactly what time it is. And you start laughing. So laughter is very powerful.
Yeah.
And, again, it can be a tool of intimacy too.
Yeah.
Like if you have a good friend, a close friend, you guys kind of look at each other. You speak your own language almost in code, etc. And so if you have that in a relationship, it will take you a long way.
It definitely will. Absolutely.
Okay, moving right along. Next up. Trust. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Duh. Why or how could you ever be married to someone you don't trust?
Right.
However, we're not talking about the surface level lying or honesty trust. We're talking about a much deeper trust, right?
Okay.
So I'm going to share a little bit about that, and you can give me your input too, and you can give me your input as well, Juju.
Okay.
So trust, again, surface level trust is just being honest. Can I trust you? Is your yes, yes?
Right.
You mean what you say? Do you say what you mean, etc.? That's self-explanatory. But we're talking about a little bit deeper trust. I was talking with you earlier today.
Right.
And you brought up a very interesting point. And in fact, Juju, would you like elaborating on that? Because that was something that really... And I don't think a lot of people connect this to trust, but when you explained it, I said, you know what? That's really good. And actually, it can contribute to the trust that you have in a relationship.
A lot, yeah.
Go ahead and go ahead and share that with the audience.
Yeah. For me, I believe that to have good, solid trust, you need to have the right or proper expectations for one another. The reason why I say that is because having the right expectations, it doesn't make you feel like you're being shorted or, like the other person is not able to
live up.
Yeah,
to
like
unrealistic expectations.
Exactly. I mean, put simply. And so you know what to expect from each other, right? There's no really, much what am I trying to say? Okay, there really isn't much disappointment,
There's
within,
consistency.
Exactly.
Right.
Consistency, yeah.
Yeah, because that's really what trust is about as well, right?
Yeah.
If you tell the truth 99 times, but lie one time,
right?
that one time is enough to make you be looked at as a dishonest person. Because now they're not going to know if the other 99 times were honesty.
Yeah.
So you're right. You have to be consistent, and setting proper expectations
yeah.
allows that consistency to be met.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So that's that, and that's why I wanted you to share that with the audience, because when you mentioned expectancy, I said, you know what, that actually falls in the category of trust.
Yeah.
Sometimes people set the wrong expectations, right?
Yeah.
Like you may hate math.
Right.
Maybe you got by in school, you barely got by. You got C's or D's, or even if you got a B or decent grade, you hate math.
Right.
Now you're in a relationship and your partner expects you to kind of be like the financial, like the financial accountant.
Right.
The person that handles everything, like balance the checkbooks, take care of the bills, etc. So now you're dreading that task. And you may not be that good at it. You're not that focused or disciplined when it comes to numbers. But if they're pressing for you to do that,
right,
and you don't do it correctly or accurately, what can happen?
Yeah.
See, I can't depend on you.
Yeah.
I told you to do it, and you don't. You see, that's a form of trust. They're telling you they can't depend on you, when in reality, they should have never set that expectation with you to begin with.
That's true.
So trust does. So I guess you could say understanding also goes into it as well. Understanding, and that's how you set the proper expectation,
Exactly.
So yeah, trust is important. And again, it's not just surface level, being honest and not lying or stealing or cheating. We're talking about expectations as well. That goes along with trust.
It absolutely does. So one example that comes to my mind is if a couple is, dating, and one is like known to be like a flirt, right? Or perhaps known to, get around, you could say, or be a cheat, right? But you choose to still pursue that relationship with that other. That's an expectation, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, how could you, within that relationship expect really more from that person when they have set the tone? Right? They have set the expectation, and it's sad because a lot of times, it could be man or woman, it doesn't matter. It could fall on either side when it comes to that type of tone being set. But a lot of times, like, there's friction later on in the relationship because of that, right? Expectation that was already set, but they expected something. The other person expected something more of that other person.
Yeah, and that's really, that's really what she's saying. Again, it's the expectation. I know. So, like another example that I was talking to Juju about was, let's say you have a child, right?
Right.
And your child is between the ages of 3 to like 5.
Okay.
Young child, right? Young kid. And your child loves you. And of course, you love and adore your child, right?
Right.
Now, would you trust that at midnight, your child can go outside, grab the garbage can from the side of the house, wherever it is, from out the garage, pull it all the way to the curb, come back completely by themselves? Now, of course, the answer is no.
Of course not.
Right? Doesn't mean your child doesn't love you. Doesn't even mean that they're necessarily dishonest.
No.
It's based on their capacity, their capability.
Yeah.
Why would you expect someone between the ages of like 2 to 5 to go outside, even if they're strong enough to pull a trash can? They're going to be looking at all the different sights and sounds, the crickets, the noise. Be
distracted,
Be distracted. A car may come by.
Yeah.
They may hear a noise, see an animal. The list goes on. You get what I'm saying? So you will quickly say, as a loving parent, no, I don't trust my, young toddler or my young kid, because they're not capable of doing that. That's not an expectancy. It's not a realistic goal that you would set for your child.
Right.
And so we're saying the same thing in relationships. Trust a lot of times go hand to hand with expectancy. It goes along with the expectation that you set and that someone realistically is capable of, achieving.
Yeah.
So be mindful of that, man. If you're marrying someone who's let's say you're a guy and you're looking to marry a woman, and in her culture, it's known that women are very domesticated. They're very, they're at-home mothers.
Right.
They take care of the home, and that's part of her culture, right?
Okay.
You can't expect her to run like 5 businesses and be going out there and, closing deals left and right. That's unrealistic.
Right.
You may be like that, but you can't expect her overnight, at least, to jump in a relationship with you and meet those expectations. So again, if you know what your partner is capable of doing, you understand them early on, then you can trust in them.
Right.
Not just a generic trust, but you'll have a proper trust in them because you know and understand what they're capable of doing.
Yeah, makes sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So don't trust that we'll always post several videos a week. We will post at least once.
No.
That's another expectation. But we do trust that if you haven't subscribed already, you will subscribe.
Right.
Hit that post notification so you can stop hearing the saying over and over.
Right.
You don't miss another video like this. And also like the video and leave a comment. See, we trusted you.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So for the last one, I'm going to throw it on you.
All right.
What do you think is an important thing within the marriage that's needed?
All right. So we already covered laughter.
Laughter.
Completely agree.
Right. Trust.
We just spoke about trust.
Right.
Absolutely needed. One thing that I haven't heard quite a bit, and actually I don't think I really hear anyone talk about this a lot, or at least they don't expound on it, and that is interest. Interest. Yes. I'm definitely going to have to elaborate.
Please do.
All right. So we all heard of the honeymoon stage, right?
Right.
A lot of people get very excited in the first 30 to 90 days of any new relationship. What's happening? You don't know the person, right? But you have a high level of interest. You want to get to know them. So you're doing a lot of things like, what is your favorite color? What is your favorite snack?
Right.
Where do you like to go? What do you like to do? That's what I'm talking about. Interest, right? So having that level of interest keeps you excited. You want to know every little aspect of your partner, what they're into, what they don't like, so you don't do it, what they do enjoy, so you can do more of it. You're interested in their, from the smallest things like the favorite color to the deepest things, like when you look up in the sky at night, what do you think? You want to know everything about them.
That's true.
So we often describe that as the honeymoon phase, right? But what happens a lot is when you get into a serious relationship, you start dating long term, you get engaged and you get married, the interest starts to fade away. In some cases, there is no longer any interest. It's just you're co-parenting, you're just roommates, you're taking care of bills, and you're not fighting. Again, you're not fighting or arguing, but you're not interested in each other.
Okay.
And so that's what I'm talking about. See, that interest is what prompts you to inquire on a regular basis. Just little things. How do you feel? You really want to know. It's not just you good? You straight? No, you really want to know. How are you doing today? How was your day?
Right.
Your partner opens up. You do follow-up questions.
Yeah.
They say something crazy. You dive deeper. They say something light. You might, share your day and vice versa. So that's what I'm talking about. What do you think, Juju? Interest. Do you kind of understand what I'm talking about?
No, I absolutely do.
Yeah.
It makes sense because, for one, when two people come together, they don't know anything about each other, right? So they're inquisitive. They're going back and forth with their questions or just wanting to get to know each other, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, like you're asking like 1,001 questions to each other.
Right.
Right. And the more and more that you learn of each other, it makes you want to learn more. Right.
Yeah.
So I feel like, when it comes to keeping interest, I feel like perhaps it gets to a point where people get like comfortable.
Oh yeah, that's the danger zone when you're comfortable. Like you basically you start assuming.
But what do you think makes two people get to that point? Because they're into each other, they're asking, they're learning, about each other. Is it just like maybe it's just life?
Well, like a lot of things can cause that. You can be distracted. Sometimes traumatic events take place, the loss of a loved one, right?
Right.
It changes the course of the excitement. And now you guys have to come together for something very hurtful or deep or scarring, etc.
Right.
Trauma, events that can really change your life. Sometimes permanently. Like, again, if you lose somebody, especially if someone passes away before their time, that can cause you to feel differently. Not necessarily about your partner, but just in general. Maybe you don't laugh as much. Maybe you're not yourself. And so if you're feeling low and you're not feeling like yourself, it may be hard to think of the other person and worry about like, their favorite ice cream or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and also you said comfort. Comfort goes hand in hand with being lazy. Like complacent. Like you feel your partner, so there's really nothing left to inquire about. And for those of you that might be in that place where things are stagnant, it's just a mundane routine. You don't really feel excited to do things, or the feeling you once had isn't there. So maybe you are doing the things you were once excited about.
Right.
But it just doesn't feel the same, right? And again, it has nothing to do with cheating, lying, or anything that can, be obvious. It could just be that you're losing interest. What I would say.
Yeah, what would you say to that?
To counter that, try different and new things.
Yeah, my thought exact. Yeah.
And because I feel like you can always learn something about someone if you're asking different types of questions and if you're paying close attention.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're always growing. We're always evolving. We're always adapting to different things. If you live long enough, every 10 years, you feel like you're a new person, right?
That is so true.
Society changes, you change, you grow, and things happen. So I don't think, the excuse of I know everything, that's not a good excuse.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just ask questions. Sit down. Yeah. Talk to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it could even be the same question, and now you're getting different answers.
Right.
Every 3 to 5 months, every 3 to 5 years, you're asking the same question, but they're maturing and they're giving you a deeper or a different aspect as to like the same, events they once shared.
Yeah.
So, but trying new things definitely help. Maybe take an art class together.
Right.
A cooking class together. Do something random
yeah.
Like I know one of the things you said that can cause people to not show interest was comfort.
Right.
Getting comfortable.
Right.
So you have to do something that takes you out of that your comfort zone.
Exactly.
So if it sounds weird, funny, like, what do I look like learning how to cook?
Just
do it.
Yeah.
That's exactly why you should do it.
Yeah.
Maybe you're just doing the same old routine. You eat the same meals every Friday, every Monday you eat the same meals, you do the same thing, watch the same shows, except you're losing interest because your life is no longer interesting.
It's like stagnant. Like it becomes stagnant. But I absolutely agree with you. In regards to trying different things, because as a couple you grow, as an individual you grow in a relationship.
Yeah.
Right? Like from when we were dating, right? Getting to know each other, like I would say we have grown in many ways, right? Individually and together. So, introducing new elements within the relationship, to whatever extent, as long as it's, good with both, people in the relationship, go for it. Yeah.
But that's a super important one. Just interest. Because, again, people learn how to adapt to anything.
Right.
You can adapt. Even when you're in an abusive situation, you can adapt to it.
That's
it's not
true.
healthy, but you may find a way to function in that environment. So even when the relationship is very boring, very stagnant, you may go 5, 10 years or even longer in that space where you're not even excited anymore.
Yeah.
But you're just, paying bills together. You're taking care of the kids together. You're doing routines together.
Yeah.
So if you want to really bring that spark back, I'm telling you, start showing interest. Yeah. And hopefully your partner, if they're watching this with you, they're going to do the same. And if they're not watching this with you, maybe you can kind of help them so they can reciprocate. Because once the interest kicks in, your relationship takes on a whole new life, man.
It does.
Seriously, man. When somebody's really, like, for example, I like to make music, right? So many different types of music that I produce. So whenever Juju is like, oh, what inspired you to make that? Simple question. That can lead to like an hour-long conversation.
Right.
She's asking follow-up questions. She now wants to know what took me to that place. What was the first time I felt that emotion that I'm trying to create, through the piano, etc.
Yeah.
And you also touched on a very important thing. You said that you grow together.
Right.
And the topic of this video is 3 ways to stay happy together.
Yeah.
So it's not just, 3 ways to stay together.
Yeah.
You can stay together in torment and, just tolerance, what I mean? But we're talking about being happy. And one of the best ways to be happy is through growth.
Yes.
Like one motivational speaker, he once said that if you could define happiness in one word, he would say progress. When we're progressing, we definitely feel happy. You know, so when you're growing, you're progressing.
Yes.
And if your relationship has that feeling of growth and progress, you're bound to be happy. So show interest, man. Yeah. Interest.
Yeah.
You know, you watch the video this long? Come on, show some interest. You know it. You know it. Right there. Show some interest, y'all. Come on. You watch the video as long. But, you know, seriously, guys, let us know in the comments below what you think about what we said.
I would love to hear your perspective. Yeah.
Drop some ideas that you have. You know, what worked for you? Are you in a happy relationship?
Yeah.
You know, share some of the tips that works for you. What worked for you? You know, definitely like to know, because we're going to be doing more videos like this. It's not just the top 3 or the 3 only. This is one of many.
Yes.
So we we love to hear your thoughts and feedback on this video. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. And as always,
escape the Matrix.